Steve Jobs once said that focus is about saying no. That is not a skill that I have practiced well over the past few years. This would be, we're going into year 4 full time of running Atlas. And it's been sobering to get to the point now where I've realized, oh, what I thought was focus before is not actually focus. The past 4 years has been very much a build and learn as I go, and sending my brain and all of our feelers in the business in completely different directions. And that is something that I am trying to do less of this year. And I say that every year. I usually choose a word every single year to encompass what I am going to embody embody that year. Last year's word was focus, and I would say last year is probably the least focused I have ever been in my time running this company so far. So I thought about choosing that word again for a second year in a row of saying I'm going to choose to focus this year. I didn't. This year I chose the word calm because I think I need to take a step back and calm down a little and just breathe. I am not a high strung person, but I am running at 110% all the time. But back to focus. I know that the only chance we have at success in the coming years in building this company and serving this industry, it's going to be focus. And so I sat down with our leadership team, actually our entire team, about 3 weeks ago, and we just sat down and we said, what is absolutely essential to accomplish this year? And through anything else needs to go. We only need to focus on what is absolutely essential this year. So we sat down as a team and we said, what is going to be the 3 primary focuses for at least myself this year in leading the company, but also what are we going to be directing our team's energy towards? So I boiled it down into 3 things that are going to be the focus for us in 2026. And mostly for me, the team does have other responsibilities outside of just our these focuses, like our customers and our client care and all that stuff. But for me personally, my big focus this year are going to be 3 things. So the first one is defining and building the Atlas brand itself a little more. And I don't mean by saying like we're going to, build the social media pages or do this and that and things like that. Like we have realized in building our company over the past few years and building social media followings for our customers and for myself and for Neil, that brand social media is the worst performing social media out there as far as, across the board. Not saying we don't do good work for our clients. We do great work for our clients. They've seen improved results across the board. But if you put those in perspective to what has been accomplished on personal brand social media versus company brand social media, the difference is astronomical. We're talking hundreds of percentage points difference between the two. Not saying either's bad or worse or better or much better, but we know that brand from a company perspective is hard to attain. So what do I mean by saying build the Atlas brand a little more? What I mean by that is just how do we define our brand, which is Atlas. Our mission is to serve agriculture by solving its most pressing issues. How do we develop that and articulate it more publicly? And I'm not saying on the company's social media channels, I'm just saying as a whole. So at least in my head, that looks like, hey, we're going to start talking about that a little more. We're going to talk about the mission behind what we do, talking about that more, talking about what it means for us as a company to exist. So we're going to focus on that a little more. We're also going to rebrand the Denton Farms YouTube channel to a new name that encompasses a wider variety of ag content. So for those of you who don't know, we've been producing the Denton Farms YouTube channel for my business partner, Neil, for the past few years. It's done well. We've made some awesome videos. It's become a really core part of the way we think about the future of our business. But we're getting to this point where we say, hey, there's a lot of topics that need to be addressed outside of just the Denton farm, as in the farm vlogs and things we're making with Neil. There's a lot of other video ideas that we have come up with and things that we think will really serve this industry. So we are going to rebrand the YouTube channel to a new name that will probably involve the Atlas name, to better encompass and describe the future of that channel, but also what our company stands for. So there'll be more details on what exactly that looks like on social media and to follow. But for now, we're really trying to bring in, hey, our company exists to solve agriculture's most pressing problems. And right now, we've really been focusing on bridging the gap between consumers and producers. That's a big problem that we're trying to solve. We need to put our company's name and energy behind that. So how do we do that? We're going to do that through YouTube first, and then we'll continue to build Neil and I's personal brands as well as the Atlas brand alongside of all that. So that's what we're working on in the brand realm for our company. So we're going to start that rebrand in a few weeks. There'll be more details to follow. Stay tuned if you want to learn more about that. Something we're super excited about. We have lists upon lists of ideas of what we could do with it, the video topics we could do, the different hosts we can bring in, the different topics we can now cover. It is just, it is super exciting. So that is focus number one. Focus number two, and this is going to be a lot of my personal focus, probably less of the company's, but we're going to start farming in Iowa at a small scale. So there's so many details I could go into about all that. That is going to be an entirely separate podcast because there's a lot of things I want to cover in that, the ideas behind it and things like that. But we have managed to get ourselves a few acres in Iowa to experiment farming in Iowa in some new and creative ways. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it brief so I don't spoil it. It's going to be out of the ordinary. It's going to be something that you're probably going to be like, yeah, that's never going to work, which is fine. I'm totally okay with those comments and things, hearing those things. So it's going to be out of the ordinary. We're going to document everything. So we are going to do our best to document it on video, photo, plants, soil. We're going to do as much as we can to capture all that content and that story to share that with the world, because we are trying something new. We are trying to be a little different. And so we want to document that and share with the world as much as possible. So that is a lot of what I'm going to be focusing on. And the mindset behind that is we talk a lot about solving ag's most pressing issues as a company and also online. And it's not that we're not accomplishing anything, but I'm ready to put my money where my mouth is and put some of these things that I've preached online into practice. Not that I am a hypocrite by any means, but it's just one of those things is like, hey, if we are truly trying to solve ag's most pressing problems, I'm going to start putting my time, energy, and money into solving those problems in a real way in the real world. So that's going to look very interesting. It could be a total failure. It could be something that is successful. Who knows? But it's time to bring some of these things that I've learned and talked about into the real world and see how they go. So it could be we could be totally heading in the wrong direction, but it's something that from a content perspective and a leadership perspective within the industry, I'm ready to put energy into. So that is focus number 2. Once again, there'll be a whole podcast on it. So hold tight. I want to get the crop plan together. I want to get everything figured out. Until I share more, you're just going to have to hold tight. So that's focus number 2. And focus number 3 for me, less of the team, a little bit of the team, but is going to be launching and hosting our first field day. It's something that we know is done by lots of other companies. It's something that we know is a part of the ag culture. And we said, hey, how can we do this differently and how can we bring value? And so we're going to really try to focus in on hosting a field day that's first and foremost focused on bringing new ideas to the table and focusing on producer profitability. This is not a company hosted field day where we're going to tell you about our products and how great we are and how this is all going to go if you buy our products and do this, this, and this. That's not the focus. We're going to have sponsors. We're going to bring some partners out, but that's by no means the focus. Our focus is first and foremost producer profitability and bringing new ideas to the table. So that's the focus of it. But we also just really enjoy connecting with people in person. It's probably one of the best parts of farm shows and field days is actually getting to meet the people that we talk with online and interact with online. And it just, it's one of the best parts about this industry is being able to actually shake the hands that build the industry, that keep us together, that keep us moving forward. It's something that I love. It's my favorite part about going to conferences like FarmCon and Commodity Classic and Farm Progress is I get to see all my friends that have, we've built relationships over the years, and it's just something that's special to me. So if we can start to host a field day that brings that, under our umbrella, we're super excited about that. So super pumped about that. There will be more details to follow. You'll hear about it on the podcast when we have an actual date. It's not going to be huge. We're probably going to cap it at 75 to 100 people. We don't need hundreds of people coming out. We'd rather start small and focus on the right things to make sure it goes swimmingly. So that is our third focus for the year. So those are our three focuses for the year. They're simple, but are going to require a lot of intentionality to do well. And they seem like they're in different buckets, but in my head, they're all within the same bucket. Building the brand online, farming, and the field day all fit within the umbrella of, hey, a lot of this is content for us. A lot of this is media. And first and foremost, this is all stuff that we are using to try to solve ag's most pressing issues and to provide value for customers, for farmers, for the industry. So that is those are my three focuses for this year. That's not to say that we are not focusing on client stuff. Our team has been working their butts off, coming up with new ideas, trying to improve their abilities to continue to deliver higher quality product to our customers. We have additional services that we are offering. They're not new services. We've always done them, but we're really trying to bring that value to customers in different ways. So if they are a social media customer, we want to start doing maybe some long form videos, some testimonials or some YouTube videos or some podcasts or things like that. If they've been just a one-off video customer, we really want to help develop marketing plans for them, help bring them into an ecosystem of marketing rather than just one-off projects here and there. So that's something the team is focusing on a ton. That's a lot of their focus. My primary role right now as a company is sales, media, and content. And obviously the farm endeavor that's sort of under the umbrella now. So that's a lot of, I don't say it's all of my time. It's probably like 60% of my time, 40% still in the business, helping out, talking to people about things, solving problems, things like that. So I'm excited for this year. Last year was pretty tumultuous. There was a lot of problems and things that happened that made it, it was kind of an awful year. Probably one of the hardest years of my career so far. But I learned a lot of lessons, and I look at this year and I'm more confident in our team than I ever have been. The work we're doing is phenomenal, and the things that we're focusing on do feel much more focused and honed in on than in years past. So, looking at 2026, the markets still aren't great. Revenue-wise for us as a company, we don't anticipate any massive growth or anything like we did 2 years ago, but we also don't intend to contract. We should maintain similar revenue numbers, if not better revenue numbers, at a higher level of profitability, just because we've trimmed a lot of fat. We are running a lot more lean than we used to. We're a lot more efficient than we used to be. As I think through this stuff, 2026, I'm not going to say I have the most optimism, but I am much more confident in the direction we're heading. So super excited about that. On the personal front, I could probably do a whole podcast on this, and I may at some point. I'm focusing on training for a 50-mile race in a few months and then a 100-mile race this fall. It's one of those things that I don't have really any hobbies because I spend time with my family, I work, I read, and I run. Those are the four things that take up 90% of my time. And running is one of the ones that keeps me grounded the most. I've read every day for years. I probably spend an hour a day reading. That's something that probably is never going to change the rest of my life. Running is one of those things I'm going to do a little more of it this season of my life because I know in a few years I'm probably not going to be able to run 100 miles the way I used to. There's plenty of people who could, but I want to push myself. I want to, take on that challenge. I think there's a lot of things you can learn about yourself through that process of running. And also, I work a desk job a lot of the time, and so it's just good for me to get out and to run and do things like that. And I listen to audiobooks, all that stuff. So personally, that's a huge goal of mine. It's kind of my magnum opus of the year is to, hey, I want to run 100 miles and see how that goes. I might want to do it again. I might never want to do it again, but I have a big calendar behind me on the wall over here, and that's my big thing this year is I'm going to focus on that big event as a, hey, that's going to define the year 2026 for me probably is, hey, I did that thing that year and I'm going to look back on that. So outside of that, I'm focusing on taking more vacations with my family, not long vacations, but just, hey, take a Friday here and there, go do things. I work 60 hours a week almost all the time. So trying to create more space for intentionality in that aspect. I travel a lot for work too. So it's, hey, if I'm going to, spend this much time traveling, I should probably take my family to go do some things. So those are larger focus this year as well. Our team is doing the best work they've ever done. I trust them a lot for when I'm gone. Like the company does not need me to be around every single day to keep the lights on. So a couple of our team members are having kids this year, so that will be fun, kind of balancing our team to keep the work flowing while some people are on maternity and paternity leave. So that's something that's coming up. But overall, looking at 2026, our company is the leanest it's ever been. We're probably having the most impact we've ever had, and we're doing things that I think are actually impactful. And I say this all not to just talk for the talk, but we're doing this stuff. Like we're writing checks to make these things happen. And that excites me a lot because so many companies come into this space and they say, we want to make a big change. We want to do this. We want to blah, blah, blah this. We want to do this. And it always ends up just being marketing for a company, or it ends up falling on its face, or reality, it doesn't really happen. And so I'm excited to be putting my money where my mouth is and putting some effort and energy into, serving our industry and solving problems. All these things that we're doing, I think will have tangible impact. So the YouTube channel, more content, that's going to help bridge that gap. It's going to help reach consumers. It's going to, I think, have an impact on our industry in a positive way. Farming in Iowa, the things we're going to try to do, they're going to be not, the biggest money-making things in the world, but they're going to be an example of what could be possible if people think outside the box. And we're super excited about that. I'm not just going to talk the talk. I'm going to walk the walk, and we're going to try some things. We're going to experiment, and we might fail, and that's okay. And then, the field day, I think that is just the culmination of this energy and effort we've putting into the industry the past few years. Like, let's bring that to people in person. Let's sit down. Let's share a meal with them. Let's deliver real value, not just a podcast, not just a YouTube video, not just an Instagram picture. No, in person, shaking hands, providing value, smiling, laughing, challenging each other to be the best producers we can be. So, it's going to be a great year. I'm going to save more of the details for all those other things on their podcast because I would really love to spend some time in detail talking about the farm, talking about running and what that looks like, and then also, what is the real meat of the field day and what's that going to look like. So we'll say that for later. We got some more interviews coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned, stay safe, stay farming. Have a good day. See ya.